Hey everyone, we are going to talk all about insomnia and not sleeping well. Like I said, I've been trying different angles out and I kind of really like this one. Usually I'd have this one and the old one, but I actually like this angle that you can kind of see into my kitchen. So we're going to play with this around a little bit and see how it goes, like I said, because I just moved, sort of trying out new lighting and angles, and I'm doing my content room. So we're getting a couch in there and different wallpaper. So it'll be really good when it's done. But for now, we're just kind of moving around and seeing how it goes. I want to talk about some of the misconceptions surrounding insomnia, some of the common compulsions I did, and why we're so afraid of not sleeping, and how once you don't sleep for a while, whether there's panic attacks involved, whether it's restlessness, whether it's just the general lack of being able to sleep, and your mind latches onto that, why it feels like never sleeping again is impossible, and why there's so much misinformation based around insomnia and sleep-related fears. Before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button down below, let me know what you think about this video, and then remember, Phil at OCDrecovery.com, just message him, be like, hey Phil, you're a loser, Nick's better, blah, blah, blah. No, we got to mess around with Phil. Phil's a great guy on the back end. He does a lot of terrific things for the company, so we can focus on other things such as making content and doing one-to-ones and stuff like that, which is incredible. So everyone has a role in the business, and you know, and our biggest mission at OCD Recovery is to spread the correct information on mental health recovery. This is not just for OCD, this is for everything. The principles that I'm about to go over are not just for insomnia. These are the principles for harm, POCD. Yes, they're tweaked and cater to those specific fears, but the overall arching principles of unconditional self-life, other acceptance, which the theory in of itself is not difficult to understand. Like I say, with Stoicism, it's much more difficult to apply it time and time again. So once you don't sleep one time and your brain latches onto that, you're off to the races for many people. So what did that look like for me? Too far. Let's move it in a little bit. So what that looked like for me, I didn't sleep well for the majority of my life for a multitude of different reasons. So number one is I drank a lot of fucking caffeine. Okay, so which wasn't good because I've had 3 major seizures in my life, and I had one a month ago now on a 1-to-1, which I felt it kind of brewing for a while. Remember, I had viral encephalitis and viral meningitis, so I have synaptic problems in my head more than likely. That's what my buddy who's a neuro guy says, and the amount of caffeine, and I changed it. Since I had my seizure, I've only had 1 coffee, which I actually naturally been sleeping better. But because I don't worry about my sleep anymore, it actually doesn't matter that much. So once you don't sleep once, now, by the way, there are health-related fears that go into this. So there's the fear of, what if I don't sleep and I have a bunch of problems? That's involved as well. Health-related fears. So you have, what if I don't sleep and I have an aneurysm? What if I don't sleep and I have brain damage? Because you got to be careful, because the functional medicine crowd and the insomnia-based crowd, like if you go on YouTube and you go to Joe Rogan or you go to Chris Williamson's podcast, a lot of well-intentioned individuals on there, but many of these people are nothing short of hypochondriacs. Like Andrew Huberman is a hypochondriac, no doubt about it. He might not be a clinical diagnosable hypochondriac, but in the theoretical sense, he spreads information that people unknowingly watch, become obsessive, and become hypochondriacs, okay? Whether it's a clinical sense or a subclinical sense. But it doesn't really matter because the principles still apply. Afraid of eating this food, afraid of not getting sleep, brainwave measuring. There should be no reason ever on the planet, no matter how much of a professional athlete that you ever need to track your sleep ever. Unless there's a very specific purpose for showing someone based around their fears. But tracking recovery apps, the Google Watches, I would never wear a Google Watch. There's no need to wear a Google Watch in my opinion, just wear a regular watch. Now, are Google Watches inherently bad? Of course not, but there's a lot more cons with Google Watches when you have health OCD and sleep-related fears of all the tracking measures that come onto it. Tracking your circadian rhythm, looking at your resting heart rate, checking your blood pressure in the middle of the night. I mean, I've worked with people who are sleeping with pulse oxes on their finger. All because there's so much misinformation out there. When you watch the individuals that are telling you to track your beta waves or your gamma waves, not applicable at all. Total overkill, fuels perfectionism. You can be a world-class athlete without tracking anything. There's a lot of them out there. They just don't speak up and they don't look good. This doesn't look good on a podcast. Hi, my name is Brian. I'm a world-class runner, and I eat when I'm hungry, and I run a lot. That doesn't sound cool. People want to know the tips and the tricks. They want to know the sleep measuring. They want to know the recovery score. They have that new watch I see a lot on my YouTube. I have a 97% recovery score. Gotta go. Gotta go. Really, really, really bad for you. Really compulsive. Completely unnecessary. Everything in life is a pros, cons. Some things have more cons. Some things have more pros. And it's going to look different from person to person. Tracking your sleep is primarily cons. There's very little pros that come from that. And that's really difficult to hear, but when I sit people down and talk to them about, you have to get comfortable with not sleeping. You have to get comfortable with tired sensations. You have to bring those tired sensations everywhere for the ride. It's so important to do that. So what did I have to do? Okay. All my sleep tracking measurements had to go. So I had to stop doing anything that would put me in a situation where I would track sleep. Milo's chewing on a loud toy, so we're about to take it away. Hold on, buddy. Don't worry. You can have it afterwards, I promise. Look at this thing. Look at this fucking thing. I love it. He picks it. Here he is, right here. Look at his head. Yeah, you ain't having it. You can have it in a few minutes. So all that had to go. I had to get comfortable with not sleeping. That was very, very important. So if I slept, I slept. If I didn't, I didn't. No more sleeping in, no matter how tired I was. If I get up most days at 5 in the morning, 4:55 to 4:53 in between that time. So that's when I get up. Another compulsion I had was checking my phone over and over and over and over and over again in the middle of the night for a multitude of different reasons. Number one, the fear of missing my workout. Number two, the fear of, is it morning? 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 How close am I to morning? Morning. I mean, there was times I checked my phone 50 times in one night. I would check it every 15 minutes. Look at it. 12:47, 1:03, 1:31. I mean, it was crazy. I did this for years. I probably went 2 to 4 years. The longest I slept in one shot was 3 hours. Max. Now, was I tired and exhausted a lot? Sure, but it still didn't stop me from doing things. And then what people do is they say, well, you have ADHD and you're hyper, so it's easier. No, your body still wants sleep and it still isn't the healthiest. Keyword, even though you're not sleeping a whole lot, and if you go days without sleeping, which really isn't actually that possible, you forget and your body just find 20 minutes here, hour here. So it will find sleep in some way. So you have to get comfortable with those sensations. And you have to bring those tired sensations everywhere. To work, to the girlfriend, the boyfriend's house, anniversaries, traveling, everywhere. All that's going to have to come with you. As you bring those tired sensations for the ride, you start to change your opinion on feeling tired. You know what? I don't sleep really well. I have a lot of anxiety, a lot of heart palpitations. It's not the end of the world. It's very uncomfortable, but I can learn to live with these things. That's the overall basis of this, and that's how you actually get better. So you have to wear the tired sensations. You have to bring the tired sensations everywhere with you. And then on top of that, you have to drop all the recovery measurements, the sleep tracking, the beta waves, the sleep studies, the sleep doctors. Anyone that's recovered from severe insomnia, we work with a couple people. Beth, the holistic sleep coach, is someone that we worked side by side with. I had really bad sleep problems for years and years. Many people I work with, that's their primary fear, whether it's they're not sleeping or the fear of not sleeping, which then produces them not sleeping. Every single one of those individuals that gets better has lost all their sleep tracking measurements. That doesn't mean they don't have an idea of proper sleep and what is better, but they don't use the word optimal because optimal is synonymous with perfection. There's no such thing as optimal. Albert Ellis talks about task perfection versus self-perfection, but even I wouldn't really use it like that because although you're striving for a task perfection, it's very, very easy to become self-perfection and conditionally. And so it's a slippery slope. And that's what you have to work on. But the biggest takeaway from a behavioral standpoint is nothing to get you prepped for bed in the sense of I need to do this. I have a Tempur-Pedic pillow and I like to sleep in a colder room, but I could sleep in a 90-degree Fahrenheit bedroom for a month, sweating every night, getting poor sleep, and it wouldn't scare me. Not saying it's going to be the healthiest thing. I'm just saying it's the fear behind it that drives it. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, phil@ocdrecovery.com. This is something I struggle with really badly, so we can help you. And then we have the webinars at 8:30 p.m. UK time. Hope to hear from you soon. Have a good one, everyone.